So what is the syntax? What do you understand by the word syntax in programming? That's you know there's background noise where you are kindly mute your mic. If you know there's background noise where you are kindly mute your mic.
Simply put, syntax is order or arrangement of programming language code.
Wait, Samuel, is that you talking?
I'm here now. I'm here now.
Ah, wait. Who spoke now? That voice, the voices are different.
Abubakar.
Okay, Albaka. I thought
Yes, sir.
The voices are different. Samuel's voice is different from Albaka's voice. Okay, so Albaka, can you say that again, please? I heard something about
syntax, simply put, is an or arrangement of programming language codes.
Okay, arrangement of programming language codes. Okay, that's okay. All right. Thank you, Albaka. Samuel, what do you have to say?
Okay, so I was going to say syntax is procedures and arrangement, procedures and formats in which codes are being written.
Okay, procedures and formats. That's also okay. Procedures and formats, arrangements. That's good. You guys are spoken. That's good. But I'll just put it this way. So take it as a guideline, right? Or the rules and regulations that govern the use of a particular language, right? So each programming language have their various guidelines. You understand? So for Python, it has its own syntax, just like other languages have their own syntax. So once you default that syntax, once you default the guideline, you have a syntax error. And there are different types of syntax error. So in this case, we're having a syntax error, and you can see the output is giving you an arrow here. My name is Dams. So it's telling you that's where the syntax error is, right? So this is wrong because it is seeing it as variables. So if I change it to one quote, that's a single quote, you can see it now. The error is no more. So that tells you that if you want to put up a string in Python, you either use single quotes, one, triple quotes. Either of those will work fine. You get it now. Single quote or triple quote. If you want to try 4 quotes, that's your own cup of tea. You can see it will give you error. That's your own cup of tea. You try more than 4, but single or triple, it will work fine. So you can use triple for double. You know you can have 2 quotes like this. It will work fine. And you can have single quotes like this. It will also work fine. That way it will work fine. Yeah, Igusha, thank you. Please, if you know there is background noise where you are, kindly mute your mic, right? If you are talking with someone or you're doing something, so that's because the class is being recorded. So those who will be listening later on, will have a seamless learning, please. Thank you. So I was explaining, you might come across an interview session and they'll ask you something like this. What data type is this? As long as it is 3, know that it is what? A string. No error. But if it is 2, like this, then it is no longer a string. And if it is 4, it is no longer a string. So please take note of that. Take note of that, please.
Sorry, if it's 2 or 4, what is it then?
It is rubbish. You have an error. So strings only work. String only works.
String is only 1 and 3.
Yes. So it can be single 1 or double like this. like this. You know, this is a string now. Double quotation mark or single quotation mark. It will work out fine. You understand? Now, it's important to understand that
Sorry,
string.
what's the difference between what is I'm seeing double
Yes,
between this
just
double
like
and the other
English,
double?
just like English language. No, we have single quotes and double quotes. Single quote is just like this.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is single quote. So when I say single like this and triple, this is what I mean. This is single, this is string.
Triple of
And you can see it
singles.
now. So
Okay.
single, triple, this is a string. If I run this code now, you see the output. My name is Dams. Can you see it? Plus string. It works fine. And I can switch to double like this. That's double, triple. You can see it. It will also work fine. If I run this code, it will work fine. Do you get it now? But anything other than this, if you're using 5 quotes, like double 5 or 4 or 2, you have an error. Take note of that. Another thing you need to understand is the strings are arrays. They are referred to as arrays in Python. Please take note of that. They are arrays in Python. Now, because they are
I have a question.
okay, please next time just raise up your hand so I can call you.
Okay.
But that's Albaka or Yusuf. Who spoke now?
Abaka.
Okay, Albaka, okay.
Yes, as regards this very language. So what's the difference between these strings, or what do you call it? The quotation mark and the parentheses.
This is parentheses here. On line 16, writing parentheses.
Well, in place of the quotation mark, can we use parentheses?
You mean like this? Just in a minute. You mean like this?
Exactly.
Well, no, you can't.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah. So what we have on line 15, we have a variable object. And this variable object is storing a value. Remember, variables are containers that store values of different data types. Or you can refer to them as placeholders. Either way, that's fine, right? And the values are of different data types. In this case, the data that this variable object is storing, the type of that data is called a string. That's what it's called. So what we are doing on line 16, we are printing the variable object, right? They are printing at the type. And that's what you can see here. You see my name is Dams, and you see class string. So I was saying something about strings being arrays. They are referred to as arrays. So arrays are like a structure. They store objects or elements, right, in a particular order. So because they are arrays, we can identify them or access them with square brackets. I'll say that again. Because they are arrays, we can identify them or access them with square brackets. Now, I think in the last class, someone asked the question if we have car or character or car. We don't have car in Python. Rather, what you have is string. So this my, M is seen as a string. Y is seen as a string. N is seen as a string, right? But is a bit of string, right? So, or is it a bit of bytes now? I think it's a byte now. So all these bytes together, they are stored in this variable object name, and name is stored in the memory as a reference. However, if I can change name here to, let's say 34. If I change name to 34, the data type that is now stored in name is now changed. It's no longer a string, but an integer. And that is what makes Python a dynamically typed language. Unlike languages such as, I think, PHP and Java, they are static type. Python is not a static type language. It's a dynamically typed program language. And that means that you can declare, you can change the types of your variables or your variable objects at the point of declaration. you can change the variable data type or the object data type at the point of declaration. So on line 15, it is string. On line 16, it is what? Integer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this line 17 and paste it here, so you guys can understand it well. So you can see 15 and 16. Let's run the code and see. So can you see it here now? You see the first one, my name is Dams, class string. Second one, 34, class int, right? So some program languages, you have to declare it like this, like int name, to specify that this variable object is what? An integer. And once you declare it like this, you cannot change it. That means if you want to store a string in that variable object, it will not work. It will work, but you have a runtime error. So these languages like this, whereby you have to declare the data type before you put up the variable, is statically declared type. But for Python, it's dynamically declared. And that's why it's called the dynamically typed programming language. Or like languages such as Java and like a static type. Right? They have the advantages, they have disadvantages. Okay. So another thing you need to understand with Python is the Python interpreter works from top to bottom. What do I mean by that? When you have a Python script like this is a Python script, right? With 2 session 1.py, it's a Python script. So it works from top to bottom. Once it's loading this code and it's running the code, it starts from line 1, line 2, line 3. So it goes like that, top to bottom. So if there's an error, let's say on line 13, if there's an error on line 13, it would, once it encounter that error, it won't go to line 14. It will just bring out a syntax error, stuff like that. And all the other ones will not work until you fix that error. So it works line by line. Please take note of that. Don't forget. Python interpreter runs from top to bottom. Don't forget that. And it's a dynamically typed programming language. It is not statistically typed. Python is not statistically typed. These are questions you might encounter during interview questions or technical tech questions, not really coding questions, when they're just trying to just test your knowledge. So take note of that. So now strings are arrays, right? And because they're arrays, we can access them. So what I'm going to do is this. I'm just going to call this. So I'm going to remove this now because I want to access. So access the value of the string array. So I can say, now another thing you need to understand is this. When you're dealing with arrays in Python, you can access them using square brackets and their index position. You can access them using what? Square brackets and their index position. It's important to understand that in Python indexing, your indexing starts from 0 and not 1. I'll take that again. Your indexing starts from 0 and not 1. So this name variable object here, it is storing my name is Dams, right? And of course, there's an exclamation mark here if you can see it. So M is seen as a character byte. Why a character byte? This space is also a character byte. It's called white spacing, by the way. So you can hear anyone say white spacing, you know they're talking about. It's basically space, right? So M is seen as index 0. Y is seen as index 1. Let's see that example. So I'm going to run this. Give me print name. Oops. Name, then square brackets. So I'm going to put out 1. So you can see, let me just do this. So I'm going to put a string here, a sentence here. Index getting a value from the array. So please observe the use of comma, right? So this is a string, as you can see, print, this is like a string, and this is a variable. So you can't have it like this. You have an error. So what you need to do is put this, separate it by using a comma, right? Because this is a string and this is a variable object. So what am I trying to say here? I'm saying I'm trying to access what? The index 1 value of this name variable object. I'm trying to access the index 1 value. So let's run this and see what we have. So let me clear my terminal so that it will be fresh. Let me run this code again. So you can see it now. Can you see what we have? What's the value?
Y.
Y, thank you. So what does it tell you about M?
M is 0.
M is 0. Thank you very much. So take note of that. Indexing starts from what? 0. So we can do this. And if I should print out 2, and I run this, you'll see what we have. What do you think we have as the output?
Nothing, space.
Space, thank you. It's not nothing, no, it's space. That space is something, no, because that space is stored in the memory too, right? It's stored in the memory. Did I tell you last week how you can check the size of a variable object? I don't know if I told you guys.
No.
I didn't. Okay. So you can check. Now, I want you guys to observe something. While we are following the schedule, right, the topics in the schedule, during the class, and that's why I'm always saying attend live classes, right, and ask questions. Many other things will be coming up that are not in that schedule, right, of course, but they are quite important because of the work we are doing here. So you can check the size of your variable object by using the len function, right? So I'm just going to put this in the comments. Helps you know the size of your objects. Right, so we can know the size of our name object. I'm just going to say print, just as we do with type. I can say len, right? Then what I want to check. So what am I saying here? Give me the length, right? But we call it size basically, but of course you can say length, it's fine. So give me the length of this variable object. That means the values that are there, count them and give it to me. So I'm going to print it now. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say name variable object as a total of then we'll put it here. By let me say characters. So observe something. You can see comma here and comma here, right? I have an error. Okay. So you can see it here now. I think I still have an error. Okay. Good. So observe on line 21, print name variable object or variable object name. Let me do it that way. Variable object name as a total of. So what if I want to maybe put this like this? You can see it has changed now. Observe something that's changed. So you know that that's why you want to reference a particular text, right? So I want to wrap this in quote, but observe something that's changed. And why did it change? It changed because it thinks this, if you can see my cursor here, it thinks this quote here is the ending of this opening quote, right? And in this case, it sees this one as the beginning of a new quote and this one as the ending of that quote, right? But that's not what I meant, because what I want to do is I want to like put this name in quotes, you know? So what I can do is this, there are two ways we can go about it. Is either I put everything here in double quotes, right? In double quotes, is that I put everything in double quotes, as you can see here, right? So it works fine here. And I now put this in a single quote like this. So you can see. So what does this tell you? It tells you that you can put a single quote in a double quote. You can put a single quote in a double quote. And that makes sense because it's like 2 can take 1, right? It has a capacity to take 1. But you can't wrap a double quote in a single quote. I'll tell that again. You can wrap a single quote in a double quote, but you can't wrap a double quote in a single quote. So let's run this and see what we'll do. Then I'll show you a second method. So you can see variable objects name has a total of 16 characters. You can see 16 characters. And if you count it, let's count it real quick. My, that's 2, right? Then NAME, that's 4, right? That's 6. IS, that's 8. Then DAMS, that's 4. So that's 12. Then exclamation mark 13.
Okay.
Exclamation mark 13. But this white space is part of it. That's 14. This one too is part of it, 15. Then this space here makes it 16. And hence you have 16 characters. Please let me know if this makes sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay, thank you. So don't forget your white spacing is a character, right? So you can see using the len function, you can know the size of a particular character, a particular object, right? So let's see the second way with which you can do this. If I want to put all of this in a single quote, as you can see here, this will give me an error because you can see it now. Because let me just focus and see. Okay, this might not even give me an error, but let's see what we have. Syntax error, of course, it give me an error anyways. Because so who can tell me what is missing here? Look at the code, what is missing? Line 21. Line 21.
It's meant to be a double quote.
That's not even the issue now. It's not a double quote now. Look at it well.
If we are to use single quotes as the starting and the ending, we have to move that single quote from that name.
No, that's not the issue. Look at it well. Look at the output. Look at this syntax error. I want you to look at this. It's giving you an hint on where the error is. Can you see that? Can you see that? What's this sign called? This sign here.
Yes, you can see the sign.
So it's giving you an hint. So whenever you see that, know that it's giving you an hint that this is where the error is coming from. So it's not the quotes. I want you to observe, look at this. See, when you are coding there, when it comes to coding, let me tell you something. You have to shine your eyes well, right? Because the mistake that might be causing the error might be something very minute. And it happens a lot of the time. A lot of the time means it happens to even experienced programmers. Trust me. Right? Sometimes you just close your laptop, go away. Then maybe after 25 years, you come back. Right? But many times you just need to take a break and come back. Because it might be a very minute error. So look at it well. What do you observe in this code, this line of code?
It's saying that there should be should be a way that you should exempt the name, the first name.
When you say exempt, what do you mean, sir?
Possibly to ignore.
Okay, I want you to look at something, guys. Now, look at line 19. Can you see line 19?
Yes.
Line 19 is made up of what? Who can tell me what line 19 is made up of?
I think I have the answer you're looking for.
Okay, before you respond, what is line 19 made up of?
Variable and string.
Variable and string. Thank you. What separates them? What separates them? Everybody look at line 19. We have a string, that's correct. We have a variable. Of course, the variable and the string are wrapped in the print function, right? So
Index.
no.
Yes.
The index is part of the variable now. You can see it now. So this is one entity on its own. This one is another entity on its own. So something separates them.
A comma.
A comma. Thank you very much. So you cannot put the variable and the string together. You have to separate them with a comma. Now go back to line 21 and observe it. Do you notice anything?
You have a string, a comma, a len,
A comma is there.
a comma, string.
A comma is where?
The len.
I think
Before the len.
in
How many variables?
line 21,
How many variables can you
I'm seeing supposedly two variables, but one of them is wrapped in a quote, which is not supposed to be. So it has been converted into string.
Okay. So, but is it converted to a string? Because of
No,
course,
it's not converted. No, it's not converted, but I think it's an error.
so what do we
So
do?
it will appear as a string.
Is it going to? It's not an error now.
Yeah.
So what
It's
do
not
we
an error.
Should we put a comma in between name?
Okay.
Or something.
So where do we put the comma? Like this?
After
At the
object,
front of name.
After
No, at the
object.
front of name.
after object and after name.
At the front of name,
I
like
don't
this?
know.
No, not there. At the front of the quotation.
Like this?
In that name. Front of the quotation in the other side. Front of the quotation. After the NAME quotation, then comma.
And
I don't think there's anything wrong with this.
there is.
Yes, after the
we have an error.
you see,
What did
we said after the NAME quotation, then comma.
So I
In
think
that
after,
name part.
I don't think it's
before
supposed
the
to wrap
name,
in quotation. First of all, I don't think it's supposed to wrap in quotation.
I think we should put a comma in front of the object.
A comma.
yes.
After the yes.
Wait, I think you should use a double quote.
In the variable object,
In the
comma.
variable object, then in the name you use a single quote. You said one will wrap the other. Okay? In the variable object, before the variable object, you put a double quote to close it up. Then
No,
the name you use
the
a single
thing
quote.
is this. We saw the output first, right? Look at it here. And that was because we used double quotes to wrap them. And I said something.
Yes.
Double quotes can wrap single
Yes,
quotes,
single
right?
quote. That's what I'm trying to say.
Good. Now I said there are two ways to go about that. A double quote
Like-
and a single quote. I
So
want to
that means
and get it
after
wrong.
object,
But a single
after
quote,
object.
the thing is, we want to achieve this same thing. Can you see the highlighted text here?
Not that way. Yes.
But we want to do it using single quote all through. But there's an error already. So I want you to
Okay,
identify
that
the
means-
error.
That means
The single quote in the
based on the syntax error, I think you need to put a comma before name,
Put a comma.
because that's why the
Yes,
syntax,
A
that's why
comma
the
before,
syntax,
like after the variable object,
Like
a
this?
comma.
Because-
then- No,
excuse me,
like
based on the syntax error, you said the problem is where n is, right? So maybe we put the comma there. Yes.
Okay, I'll put the comma. Okay.
no,
Let's
not
try.
there, not there. Like right in front of the object.
Which object? There are many objects here.
The front of the object's
Variable
name. The front of the
object,
object's name.
Name.
The front of the object's called name.
Name. Okay.
No, in front of no. After the quotation. Not
After the
before the
quotation.
quotation.
Okay, this quotation.
No, after. Yes, after the quotation.
Like this.
No, the other quotation, not that one.
This one.
You are
Like
trying
this.
to trick us.
Yes.
Yes.
Who said that?
It's me.
But
I'm
you should have comma now.
I'm calling your
No,
command.
not there. Not the after the quotation, the second quotation in that
Wait,
object's
calm
name.
down. Let's
What
scan the
name?
quotation. This is
That means
number one.
Okay.
This is quotation number two.
Not okay.
So be giving me the
Yeah,
number.
that object's name. Yes, that one.
This one.
after quotation theory, put comma. After the third
This is
quotation,
quotation
put
3.
comma.
This one, Abi?
Yes, put comma. Yes, put
Yeah,
comma.
comma. Okay.
Okay. Yes, we are good.
Are we good? Let the ladies confirm.
Mm.
No, we are not good though.
Let me ask you a question. Is
Why?
this
Because
comma
okay.
needed? This comma that we are looking for where to put it, are we meant to put it
But
somewhere?
Do you know
I'm
what
just
we're trying
wondering
to?
why
but
I
We are
need
trying
comma.
to. We are
Alright,
trying to.
Dami,
We are
can we
trying to
put two?
debug this. This is
Dami, can we put two commas? One, like when we put it now, and then before name.
before
I don't
name.
know why I knew that this comma is not meant to be anywhere, but anyway, we should continue.
No problem. We are all learning here, right? So see, if you miss it, we will get it again. No wala. All right.
So let's just try it like this. If it gives us an error, then we'll try something
Where
else.
should I put the
Just
comma
like
again? Should I run
Give
this
us
one first?
I feel we should put
If you
one
don't put the
also
comma where
before
you want you to
name,
put it though.
Before name,
so that it's yes,
like this, Abi?
yes. So I think maybe this will work.
Okay, that's
Let's
fine.
try
Thank
it.
you. Let's
Or
try.
you put three commas.
Idris, Idris, you're
Three
not.
commas. It's going to give us
I,
error. No
I saw
matter
what
what.
you did. Let's run it and see. We still have the error. Okay, so let's do this real quick. Now, let's look at this again, guys. This is a brainstorming session, and this is what coding is all about, or programming, by the way. You can see this arrow. Where is this arrow coming under? Under what letter?
Under N.
Good. So now let's put it back. This from year to year is seen as what?
String.
String. What is name seen as in this case?
Object.
Object.
What kind
Variable.
of variable object? See, you need to understand this thing. Don't just say object, because string itself is an object.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Variable object. Okay.
So you have to be see, you have to be specific. This is a
Variable.
string object. You get me? Of course, we know it's a data type, but it's a string object because you all know already by now that Python is an object-oriented programming language, right? And it sees everything as objects, right? So this is string. This is a string object. Name itself is seen as a variable object. And don't forget, you can't have a string object and a variable object simultaneously. There has to be something that separates them. Just as
Example, what can separate them?
Look at line 19.
A comma
Are you saying
separated them.
Exactly.
a colon?
A comma.
Okay.
A comma before it.
A comma before it.
Before what? Before what?
Before the variable.
Before the variable object.
Like
So
this.
you are going to do it. No, okay, so before you put the comma, you have to close out the first variable, as in putting the apostrophe.
The first string.
After the object, you put
the quote. You have to close the quote for the first string.
The quote first, then put a comma.
When you
It's
say
not close.
quote, do you mean
So the
quote
object.
like this?
No, after the variable object, after the T, you put the single quote.
There is
After
a
the
quote
T,
here now.
the
Look at the
comma.
quote. Look at the quote here now. See the quote here.
No, that quote there is for the variable. You want to close out this first one before you put the comma, then the variable name.
So let me ask you guys know. Let's take it again. A variable object and a string object cannot be together simultaneously. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Good. So something must separate them. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so I think I understand
So
this thing now.
the variable object starts from where, and the string object ends at where. Let's
Okay, now
that.
yes. So the string object ends at the space.
This space,
So there's
like,
supposed to be a space. So the string,
is it this space?
yes, this space.
So
Yes.
let me ask you. If it ends at this space, where would the comma be?
After the quotation.
Exactly after. Thank you. So we've separated it. At least this one. Now, okay, where do we need to separate again?
Then
Before
after
has.
name, you put comma after the name. After the name, you put comma.
Do you now see it now? Does it make sense now?
Yes.
So we've now, so it is because it is seeing name as a variable, right? So we need to set, and this quotation mark here, this one in front of the comma, signifies the start of another string object. And don't forget, variable object and string object cannot be together. There has to be a separation. Does this make sense, please? If there's anyone who don't understand, just talk now. Feel free to ask questions now.
Can you go again?
Should we run the code? Should we run the code, guys?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Sorry, please explain
So can you see it now?
for better.
Variable object, my name
Can
is.
you repeat it again?
Can you see this? Can you see this output, guys?
Yes.
So it is giving us the value of this variable object. My name is Dan, and that's correct, right? So no error, right? It gave us the, but this is not what we want. What we want is, we want name to be wrapped in quotes. But because we are using single quotes here, I will take this again for the person who asked that question. Because we're using single quotes here, we cannot wrap a single quote in a single quote. We can only wrap a single quote in double quotes.
Double quotes.
So because you can see here on this place, we have single quotes. Here we have single quotes. It is taking this as a variable object, and that's not what we want. So what can we do? We can use what we call the backslash, the escape character, to escape it.
Yeah,
I
escape.
can just do this. Let me see. I can just do this. Give me a minute, please.
Backslash. Is it back or forward?
This is back. This is backslash. Forward is like this. It's going forward. This is back. You get. So we can use the backward slash to escape it. You understand? So you can see it now. So it is no longer seeing name as a variable object, but rather as a string. Can you see that the color has changed? Please, are you guys observing it? The color has changed.